Summary of Twisted Games written by Huang. Chapter 1. Princess Bridget of Eldora walked briskly across the campus of Thayer University, the autumn breeze swirling golden leaves around her. Her footsteps echoed softly against the cobblestone path, accompanied by the occasional squawk from Leather the parrot, who perched on her shoulder. Beside her, Booth, her longtime bodyguard, maintained a vigilant watch, his expression a mix of professionalism and weariness. As they approached Wags and Whiskers, a local pet rescue shelter, where Bridget volunteered, she exchanged a knowing glance with Emma, the shelter's director. Emma, with her warm smile and gentle demeanor, had become a cherished friend and mentor to Bridget over the years. However, their time together was coming to an end, as Emma was preparing to retire from her position at the shelter. The impending farewell weighed heavily on Bridget's heart as she greeted Emma and attended to her volunteer duties. The shelter, with its array of furry companions, provided a brief respite from the tumult of royal obligations and personal transitions that loomed over her. Yet, amidst the flurry of goodbyes and transitions, another change awaited Bridget, the arrival of her new bodyguard. Reese Larson, an ex-Navy SEAL, turned private security contractor, was tasked with assuming Booth's role. Bridget's curiosity piqued at the prospect of working with someone of Reese's background, but she couldn't shake a sense of apprehension. When Reese finally made his entrance, Bridget was taken aback by his imposing stature and commanding presence. His demeanor, though professional, exuded an air of authority that clashed with Bridget's more relaxed approach. Despite Booth's attempts to facilitate a smooth transition, tensions simmered beneath the surface as Bridget and Reese sized each other up. The initial meeting set the tone for their relationship, one marked by friction and conflicting personalities. Reese's stringent security measures clashed with Bridget's desire for autonomy, leading to heated exchanges and strained interactions. As Bridget attempted to adjust to Reese's presence, she found herself grappling with feelings of frustration and resentment. His insistence on overhauling her security arrangements and dictating her movements left her feeling stifled and resentful. Gone were the easy rapport and camaraderie she shared with Booth, replaced by a rigid hierarchy that chafed against her independent spirit. Despite their differences, Bridget remained determined to navigate the challenges posed by Reese's arrival. She recognized the importance of security measures in her position as a member of the royal family, yet she refused to relinquish control over her own life. Their interactions oscillated between terse exchanges and tense standoffs, each encounter leaving Bridget feeling more at odds with her new bodyguard. As days turned into weeks, Bridget and Reese attempted to find common ground amidst the sea of discord. Slowly, begrudgingly, they began to forge a tentative truce, finding a delicate balance between security protocols and personal autonomy. Their journey was fraught with obstacles and setbacks, yet amidst the turmoil, a begrudging respect began to blossom between them. Bridget admired Reese's unwavering dedication to his duty, while Reese begrudgingly acknowledged Bridget's determination and resilience. Over time, their relationship evolved from one of animosity to grudging acceptance, paving the way for a more harmonious partnership. Though they remained polar opposites in many respects, Bridget and Reese learned to complement each other's strengths and weaknesses, forging a bond that transcended their differences. As they worked together to navigate the complexities of Bridget's royal duties and personal life, they encountered numerous challenges along the way. From thwarting potential security threats to navigating the intricacies of royal protocol, Bridget and Reese faced each obstacle head-on, their shared determination and resilience guiding them through. Despite their initial clashes, Bridget came to appreciate Reese's unwavering commitment to her safety and well-being. His expertise and vigilance provided her with a sense of security that she had not known before, allowing her to focus on her responsibilities without constant fear or worry. Similarly, Reese began to see Bridget in a new light, recognizing her strength, intelligence, and compassion. Though she may not have fit the mold of a typical royal, Bridget's determination and resilience earned his respect and admiration. He found himself drawn to her fiery spirit and unwavering dedication to her principles, despite their occasional disagreements. As their partnership grew stronger, Bridget and Reese found themselves facing a new set of challenges, not as adversaries, but as allies. Together, they navigated the complexities of royal life with grace and determination, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Through their journey together, Bridget and Rhys discovered that true strength lies not in one's ability to stand alone, but in the willingness to lean on others for support. In each other, they found not only companionship but also a sense of purpose and belonging that transcended the boundaries of their respective roles. As they walked side by side through the corridors of Thayer University, leather squawks echoing in the background, Bridget and Rhys shared a silent understanding. Though their journey had been tumultuous, they had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. Together, they would face whatever challenges the future held, secure in the knowledge that they had each other's backs. In the end, Bridget and Rhys's partnership proved that even the most unlikely allies can find common ground and forge a bond that withstands the test of time. As they continued on their journey together, they knew that no matter what obstacles they may encounter, they would face them with courage, determination, and unwavering trust in each other. Chapter 2. In the dimly lit confines of the crowded bar, the pulsating beat of music mingled with the animated chatter of patrons. Among them stood Rhys Larson, a man whose steely gaze betrayed the weight of his responsibilities as a bodyguard. His charge, Princess Bridget von Ashtenberg of Eldora, moved with effortless grace amidst the throng of people, her laughter ringing out like a beacon in the night. Rhys watched her with a mixture of admiration and frustration. Bridget was a woman of contradictions, radiant yet reckless, charming yet challenging. In the 2 weeks since he'd been assigned as her protector, Rhys had come to realize that she was unlike any client he'd ever encountered. She was beautiful, of course. With her heart-shaped face, cascading golden locks, and eyes that sparkled with mischief, Bridget exuded an aura of regal elegance. But it was her fiery spirit and unwavering determination that truly set her apart. Despite her royal status, Bridget had a penchant for defying convention. She disregarded security protocols with reckless abandon, treating Rhys's concerns with thinly veiled contempt. It was as if she saw him as nothing more than an obstacle to her quest for spontaneity and adventure. Tonight was no different. Despite Rhys's warnings about the potential dangers of attending crowded events, Bridget had insisted on coming to the most bustling bar in Hazelburg. Half of Thayer seemed to have turned out for the Crips Friday night specials, and Rhys couldn't shake the feeling of unease that gnawed at the pit of his stomach. But Bridget was undeterred. She laughed and danced with her friends, her carefree demeanor a stark contrast to Rhys's rigid posture and vigilant gaze. He couldn't help but feel like a fish out of water amidst the chaos of the crowded bar, a lone wolf in a sea of revelers. As the night wore on, Rhys's frustration only grew. Bridget seemed oblivious to the potential dangers that lurked in the shadows, her carefree attitude a constant source of exasperation. But try as he might to maintain his composure, Rhys couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered in the back of his mind. His fears were soon realized when a drunken frat boy made a crude advance towards Bridget. Rhys's protective instincts kicked into overdrive as he stepped between them, his gaze cold and unwavering as he confronted the intruder. The confrontation was tense, the air thick with tension as Rhys squared off against the entitled youth. But Rhys refused to back down, his determination matched only by Bridget's own unwavering resolve. In the end, the frat boy slunk away, chastened and defeated, leaving Rhys and Bridget alone once more in the midst of the crowded bar. There was a brief moment of silence between them, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavy in the air. Bridget's gaze met Rhys's, her eyes searching his for any sign of weakness or vulnerability. But Rhys remained stoic, his mask firmly in place as he struggled to contain the tumult of emotion swirling beneath the surface. For a fleeting moment, it seemed as though the barriers between them might crumble, giving way to something raw and unbridled. But just as quickly as it had appeared, the moment passed, leaving Rhys and Bridget standing on opposite sides of an invisible divide. As the night wore on and the music faded into the background, Rhys couldn't help but wonder what the future held for him and Princess Bridget. Would they continue to clash and collide, locked in a perpetual battle of wills? Or would they find a way to bridge the gap that separated them, forging a connection that transcended the bounds of duty and obligation? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain, Rhys Larson had never met anyone quite like Princess Bridget, and he had a feeling that she would be the death of him in more ways than one. Despite the late hour, The energy of the bar remained electric as patrons danced and laughed, the pulsating rhythm of the music filling the air. Rhys stood at a distance, his gaze fixed on Bridget as she moved with effortless grace amidst the crowd. She was a vision of beauty and vitality, her laughter ringing out like a melody in the night. But beneath her radiant exterior lay a fierce determination and an unwavering spirit that Rhys couldn't help but admire. Bridget was a force to be reckoned with, a whirlwind of contradictions and complexities that both fascinated and exasperated him. As the night wore on, Rhys found himself drawn to Bridget despite his better judgment. He watched her with a mixture of admiration and frustration, his gaze lingering on her every move as if trying to decipher the enigma that was Princess Bridget. When a drunken frat boy made a crude advance towards Bridget, Rhys's protective instincts kicked into overdrive. He stepped between them with a steely resolve, his gaze cold and unwavering as he confronted the intruder. The confrontation was tense, the air thick with tension as Rhys squared off against the entitled youth. But Rhys refused to back down, his determination matched only by Bridget's own unwavering resolve. In the end, the frat boy slunk away, chastened and defeated, leaving Rhys and Bridget alone once more in the midst of the crowded bar. There was a brief moment of silence between them, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavy in the air. Bridget's gaze met Rhys's, her eyes searching his for any sign of weakness or vulnerability. But Rhys remained stoic, his mask firmly in place as he struggled to contain the tumult of emotion swirling beneath the surface. For a fleeting moment, it seemed as though the barriers between them might crumble, giving way to something raw and unbridled. But just as quickly as it had appeared, the moment passed, leaving Rhys and Bridget standing on opposite sides of an invisible divide. As the night wore on and the music faded into the background, Rhys couldn't help but wonder what the future held for him and Princess Bridget. Would they continue to clash and collide, locked in a perpetual battle of wills? Or would they find a way to bridge the gap that separated them, forging a connection that transcended the bounds of duty and obligation? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain, Rhys Larson had never met anyone quite like Princess Bridget, and he had a feeling that she would be the death of him in more ways than one.